Hello, everybody, and welcome to All Things Considered Franchising Podcast. I am your host, Scotty Milas, and I've been around the franchising space, seems like a lifetime, so welcome to the show. Just a little FYI, I help people explore franchise ownership and see if it's the right path for them, and more importantly, provide an educational journey to see how a brand that can fit your goals and lifestyle. I also educate my clients on how to validate and make a logical business decision as well as an informed decision. On this show, you'll hear directly from franchise owners as well as franchisors leading exciting brands and people within and in the industry of franchising. You can always connect with me at scotty@theperfectfranchise.com. That is my email address. Visit the websites at theperfectfranchise.com or scottmilasfranchisecoach.com. You can also text and call me at 413-935-5111. Now let's get into today's exciting episode. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another episode of All Things Considered Franchising. I am your host, Scotty Milas, and also owner and founder of scottmilasfranchisecoach.com and part of the Perfect Franchise Referral Network. I am pleased to have Chip Baranowski with me today. And for those of you listening who are in tune to the franchise industry, Chip is no stranger. He's been around. I don't want to call him a legend because he's not that old, but he's well known in the industry, not only as a leader, but someone who is also someone who follows best practices in franchising, and that's very important. Those are the people we want on the show. Chip, welcome to All Things Considered Franchising.
Well, thanks, Scotty. I appreciate the opportunity.
And this is our last show for 2025, and it's hard to believe 2025 is over, and 2026. I think it seems like yesterday I was planning for, the Y thing with the computers?
Y2K?
Y2K, that's it.
You're dating us, Scotty.
Yes, we are. You know, Chip, you and I have known each other for a long time. We actually met prior to franchising, which is kind of interesting that it's a small world. But you've been connected to the industry for some time, and you've seen the slippery slope, I guess, the industry franchising has, but also plays a very vital part in the economy, to the building and starting a business, young entrepreneurs looking to diversify. The momentum from the industry, starting going back to March of 2020, the COVID play, we saw a real big upswing, and that upswing really hasn't changed. Any thoughts on how franchising continues to support business ownership and it plays and the vital part it plays in the economy?
Yeah, I mean, from 2020, again, a lot of people in transition, a lot of companies having to pivot. Individuals of all different age groups are rethinking, what their future is, both if you're in the latter part of your career, much like I am,
Right.
to the younger generation of today that is going, do I really want to go out and work in a corporate environment that maybe doesn't appreciate me and give me what I want out of life? So I just see that going forward as I keep on talking to a lot of individuals that are kind of just fed up with the corporate world and feel it's very unsecure, especially in the tech world with AI. A lot of those tech people are getting
insecurity. Yep.
Yeah, they're getting really nervous am I going to have a job, next year or the year after that as AI continues to expand. And I see it from the economy standpoint. I believe small businesses are the drivers to the economy. Without them, you have the big corporations out there that do well, but again, the small business owners out there that are providing a great service to their customers, it's all about the customer and it's about a lifestyle. And I think that's going to continue to grow, especially as the younger generation looks at, how do I want to plan my future? And is it around a corporate career like you and I went through as we came up the corporate ladder?
Yeah, it's interesting because, we don't go to college or education, even if you bypass college or even go to a trade school, we're not taught to go out and be entrepreneurs. We're taught to go out and work for people. So, when people start first investigating and researching and exploring business ownership, franchising, investing in a franchise, it's a lot to understand, but it's not as complicated as people think it is, especially in franchising. So, and that brings up an interesting question. What type of people are you seeing? Obviously, we're seeing the tech people, the people that have been in corporate America for 25, 30 years, that have been displaced suddenly, unexpectedly, are finding it difficult to get back in. But what else are you seeing for people who want to come into business ownership? Are you seeing any type of unique characteristics about their skill sets? How they're approaching this? When you're looking at people to come in and potentially invest and become owners in Green Home Solutions, the brand you represent?
Yeah, so for us, we've seen a continued trend with the military and veterans that are being discharged from the military in their long career. In fact, I'm working with several of them right now, whether they're coming out of the military right now, or I'm working with a gentleman that's actually been out of the military for 2 years, decided to just go get a corporate job, but is really not being fulfilled,
Right.
and wants to take more control over his life because he has young children, and he wants more time with them. So we're seeing a lot of that. Just individuals that are just fed up with the corporate world, and whether it's the management that's behind them that's not supporting them well, to the opportunities because they've hit the glass ceiling and they're looking at, hey, I'm at my top level of my income. I can't grow anymore. So the only way I can do it is maybe find another job. But at being at such a high level, it might be very difficult. I'm going to take more control over my life and start a business.
The people that approach this, researching and exploring business ownership, who are looking to just replace a job, so to speak, let's call it buy a job.
Mm-hmm.
Do they need to kind of redirect their focus and approach this in a different way? I know when I coach my clients, I try to coach them in a sense that you can't look at this as just a job. You're starting to build a legacy. You're starting to build, and plan for building additional wealth for your family or building your wealth. Is that the same approach that you look at with your clients? And how should people look at this when they're first looking at business ownership in your eyes? Because you're a veteran, you've been around,
Mm-hmm.
and you've been guiding people. How should they approach this?
Well, I think it's two approaches. You have to look at the current situation they're in right now, but also look at the future and where you want to be 5 to 10 years from now. Okay. If you're just frustrated with your job and you want to get out, just don't jump into anything. It's like jobs, right? I mean, a lot of people get fed up with their job and they just jump at the first opportunity that comes across, and it might
Right.
actually be worse. Right. So the approach is really looking at where they are right now. What is the pain they're trying to eliminate in their lives, and guide them to see if business ownership is going to take care of that. Because sometimes, Scotty, it doesn't fit that, right?
Right. Right.
And then when they do realize that it is something they really want to do, is what is your end game in getting into this business? Is it to build a family legacy where you're going to start building and bringing your family members in it to, bring them in and secure their future as well as yours? Or is it a big exit strategy that in 5 to 10 or 15 years, I'm selling my business and I'm going to, cash in on a huge profit of
Yep,
my
the exit
business?
strategy. Yeah,
Yeah.
the exit strategy. That's a good point.
Yeah.
Before we jump into Green Home Solutions and talk about that in more detail, and we're talking to Chip Baranowski, who's Director of Development for Green Home Solutions, and I'm your host, Scotty Milas, of All Things Considered Franchising. You've been doing this for years, and I think we all have little stories we can share and thoughts we can, and a guidance we can give people. But what are some of the mistakes that you see, or the direction potential clients, investors going into Green Home Solutions that they do wrong that people should really consider? Or is there a pattern of going the wrong way? I mean, do you see sort of common mistakes people make, or even more,
what's the word I'm looking for? But people kind of approach this the wrong way. They're asking the wrong questions. I always coach my clients that you have to approach this and start thinking as a business owner and not a consumer. So to that point, do you see and some common mistakes or taking the train off the track, so to speak, that people make in their decision process?
Well, especially in our business, we're an indoor air quality franchise. There's not a lot of us out there, and people really don't understand what we do, and they think it's more of a luxury item type of business service that we do, and they miss out on a good opportunity because again, we've been around for over 10 years, and we have a lot of successful owners out there, but they don't look at the business from a broader perspective and really do their research and understand that there is a really need. And even after COVID, with people being confined to their homes and spending more time and really the quality of life out there. So that would be one thing. Number two is, when they do buy into a franchise system, and it's not just Green Home, it's others I've worked with over 25 years in
Right.
the industry. They get in and they veer from the recipe,
Right.
and they go off track, and then they start struggling, and it's really hard to pull them back, and it's blaming everybody but themselves, right? When I got into my own business, when I decided to make the plunge, which was a very big step for me, when I made that commitment, I looked in the mirror and I said, the only way this business fails is if it's me, if I don't go
Right.
out and execute at a high level.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like, reading the manual to get the plane off the ground. And then when the plane gets in the air, you throw the manual out the window. But people forget that the plane's got to stay in the air and then eventually you got to land the plane. So it's kind of funny. But let's talk more about Green Home Solutions because, and to be transparent, I've known the brand for a very long time. I remember when the conversion into new ownership came in and the changes were made, and you guys have been really kind of flying high, no pun intended, to the airplane scenario. But you're doing really well, and you're in a unique space. So tell our audience a little bit more about Green Home Solutions and the services and that you're providing, and just kind of general scope of what the business model looks like.
Yeah, so like I said earlier, we're in the indoor air quality world, and for both, and we're supporting both consumers and businesses with their living environments. And it can be, we actually have 9 revenue streams that deal with the world of indoor air quality in a home. So whether it's just testing the air, and I went through a situation in my home where my wife was having some illnesses, and Green Home came in, we did some testing, and we found out we had some issues, and we resolved them. To individuals that might have mold in their home, that they might have found through a construction project, or they're buying or selling a new home. And we come in, and really one of the biggest differentiators is all our products, like in our name, are green. They're plant-based enzymes that are safe for people, plants, and pets. So again, we're just trying to, a lot of the owners that get attracted to Green Home is not just for the environmental side of things, but we make impacts in people's lives. And we're coming away with people saying, wow, I can now live in my home and I'm not feeling lethargic and I'm not feeling ill every day, but I can actually enjoy the world that I live in today.
So when you look at, and again, we're talking to Chip Baranowski, who's Director of Franchise Development for Green Home Solutions. Um, when you look at the candidates that become interested and then eventually become franchisees, we were talking about tech people, engineers, kind of people you would, at first glance would say, hey, those people, being business owners, there may be a question mark, but ideally engineers, tech people are actually and veterans are ideal for franchising because they're accustomed to following a process. And they realize that when the train comes off the tracks, it's because we kind of sidestepped the process. We tried to take a detour. So when you look at the people that are coming in, is it that they understand how to follow a process and the importance? And if that's part A, what is the other parts? Because there are other parts to business ownership: delegating, managing, oversight. I always joke with my clients, hey, look, franchisors, brands are not looking for somebody to flip the burger. They don't want you to paint the house or mow the lawn. They want you delegating, managing. So what type of other expertise or skill sets are you looking for your franchisees? And where have you seen the success with your franchisees as far as skill sets coming in?
Yeah. So we're looking for people that can manage a small staff, right, and and be a leader. And Scotty, like I said, I don't want a man in a van, right?
Right.
I want them to understand how everything is done as an owner, because it benefits you when you're meeting with clients, but it also builds some street cred with your employees when you're not afraid to lend a hand if maybe an employee calls in sick, right? And you're in there and you're not delaying the customer. So really having that leadership ability, building a culture within your organization, deliver individuals that are not afraid to get out in their local communities and be part of the community and network and build relationships with people, because this is all about a relationship business. And if you just sit in your office every day waiting for the phone to ring based on some advertising, it's going to be long and slow. Our most successful owners are getting out in the community and being part of it and educating and building a really good small staff that can deliver on it, and the owners overseeing.
Well, I think it's safe to say, Chip, that somebody doesn't wake up in the morning and say, "Hey, I want to get my air quality checked in my business or house." It's not like saying, "Hey, let's go out for a hamburger today." I mean, so there's got to be that networking, that awareness in the community. So I call it the touchy-feely. You got to get out there. Do you necessarily need someone with a sales aptitude, or is it just more of the comfortability of being in front of people, maybe able to make a presentation in a boardroom, or a homeowner or a business owner? Or is there a real strong need for a sales aptitude sort of?
I would say they don't. We're a solutions based sale.
Gotcha.
And so what I mean is we're not coming in and not picking on the mini blind companies of the world, but again, I'm not measuring windows, giving them prices, and then trying to find the price point that fits them, right?
Right.
And it's something they really want, but they don't really need it. They're not going to live or die by it. So we're coming in, we're assessing the situation. If there is an issue, we're laying out protocols, and then we're leaving the customer make the decision. So it's really a soft consultative approach to sales. So you got to be a little bit of an extrovert, but not a cheesy salesperson that's just trying to come in and sell Kirby vacuums and not leave your home.
Right. So it's more of, "Hey, let me stop by your house," sort of thing, and just kind of do a couple of tests and let me show you. It's kind of that approach.
Yeah.
Versus, "Hey, I'm here to check your air," and somebody goes, "Well, my air's fine." Well, hey, kind of behind the scenes, maybe it's not. One of the things that franchising offers, that a lot of that sort of that independence doesn't, is the ability to scale multiple territories or multiple locations. When you look at your franchisees and the people that are coming in, are they empire builders? Is that also a character that you're looking for? A characteristic that you're looking for? Somebody who's looking to kind of be that empire? You and I were talking before earlier, and we were talking about that you're seeing people coming in, investing in 2 or 3 territories and not just one. So that's also part of this, that empire mentality.
Yeah, they want to own a market. They have a certain income level, or they want to exceed what they were making in the corporate world. So yeah. And what I love about our business model, and I've represented a lot of different brands, is you buy 3 territories. Our way we scale our business is 1 van at a time. So you get your van up to a certain run rate where you're at capacity, and then people are waiting a long time for you to get out there. And then you add another van with 2 more technicians, and that's how you scale. A large operation might have anywhere from 3 to 4 vans out on the road, and no more than probably 12 full-time employees, versus some other brands out there at $2 million, at a $2 million run rate, you might have 150 employees.
Right. One of the interesting things, and correct me if I'm wrong here, Chip, is that in a presentation when you and your team are on presenting to TPF, just kind of getting us updated on the brand, one of the things that came up is that this is not what we call a volume saturated appointment type business. You're not bouncing from watching the clock and bouncing from one appointment to the next appointment to the next. But it's very selective. It's very hands-on with the client. You're walking it through. So in essence, in describing some of the brands that you mentioned before, certain industries, you may be trying to squeeze in 25, 30 appointments a day.
Yeah.
Here, this is more strategic. So you may do 3 or 4 appointments a day because they're strategics and it's solution based.
Yes.
It's a need, not a want.
Yes.
Is that correct? I mean,
That
is
is- that
that
is-
another way to look at the business model?
100%. 100%.
Okay.
Whether we're getting called out because an individual's redoing their home and they open up their bathroom wall and they find a whole bunch of mold in there, to a real estate agent that's trying to help a person sell a home, and during the home inspection they find an issue that needs to be resolved so they can get the house back on the market and sold, or somebody that's having major health issues and it's contributing to their indoor environment. And we're coming out and assessing those things and presenting protocols and getting it taken care of.
Okay, great. Well, Chip, and it's interesting because people don't realize that making air better, eliminating mold remediation is part of making air better. A lot of people think, okay, well, look, you just got to come in, run some filters or clean my filters. There's a lot more science to it than just that, correct? I mean, it's...
Oh, definitely. And in addition to mold, there's microtoxins, and we can get into the whole science thing over a longer conversation, Scott, but VOCs that all contribute to the poor air quality. One of the short things is I found out my gas stove was not vented out of my home. So all the CO2 was being spread out in my home, and we had been living with it for over 4 years, and over long periods of time, that can affect overall health issues.
Well, Chip, we're running out of time here, and I just want to thank you for joining me. I think it's special to be the last guest of the year.
Well, it's an honor. It's an honor, Scotty.
It's always great to catch up with you, and but any closing thoughts? Anything you'd like to mention to the audience?
No, I would say if you're contemplating business ownership and as an alternative to what you're already doing, give Scott a call. I mean, there's so many opportunities out there, and you never know where to focus on. And their approach really digs in. It's not just giving you a list of franchises to look at, but they really understand what your goals are, both short-term and long-term, and your skills, and kind of match you with opportunities that basically fit it. And it's free.
Right.
Who doesn't
and
like
if anybody
free?
wants some more, that's true. And if anybody wants some more information about Green Home Solutions, feel free to reach out to me directly, or go on the Green Home Solutions website, or feel free to connect with Chip on LinkedIn. So we can. There's certainly other channels to find out some more. And you're working. If you do decide to work, look at Green Home Solutions. You're working with one of the best developers in the industry. Somebody who has a great reputation. So everybody, thanks for listening today. Again, I'm your host, Scotty Milas, All Things Considered Franchising. For all of our episodes on this podcast, visit your favorite podcast channel, or just go to allthingsconsideredfranchising.com for more information on business ownership, or you'd like to learn more, get educated about the road to becoming an entrepreneur, or even diversifying your current business portfolio. Feel free to reach out to me at scotty@theperfectfranchise.com, or go to scottmilasfranchisecoach.com or theperfectfranchise.com for some more information. Until then, this is Scotty Milas wishing everybody a happy and healthy new year, and enjoy the holidays and some downtime. And again, thanks for joining. This is Scotty Milas saying goodbye.